This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I'm here live to take your questions. Go ahead and put your questions in the comments right now because I'm going to get to your questions as soon as I finish talking about this topic. So, I'm talking about the T visa today. The T visa has served as an alternative form of relief for my clients who did not qualify for any other options. It has assisted my clients as well as their family to gain stability and gain status here in the US. So, what is the T visa? Now, the T visa is for victims of trafficking. And now, before you throw yourself out of the qualifications for this, you need to listen up about this, right? The T visa is for victims of trafficking. However, trafficking comes in different forms. It just does not come in the form of being kidnapped and being chained up somewhere, being held physically forced to do something against your will. You would be very surprised about the different ways that the way trafficking comes out, or that the way that people traffic other individuals. Now, trafficking can be perpetrated through fraud. So if you're told lies, so say for example you're an immigrant and you are outside of the U.S. or you're even here in the U.S. and someone has told you a lie. If you come work for me, I will give you the green card. And then as you work for them, you start to realize that they never intended to get this for you. And the lie was to get you to work for them for their benefit. That is trafficking. Because the way that they force you to work for them is by making this promise. This might have been work that you never would have done if it wasn't for that promise to get the green card. And so you really didn't willingly, if they told you the truth and just said, come work for me for little and nothing, um, and that was it, you would have never agreed to do the work, right? That is what makes it trafficking by fraud. There's also trafficking by coercion. Now, with coercion, it can not only just be straight up threats towards you, but it can be the way that they behave towards you. It can be a pattern of behavior. Many of my clients will say, well, the employer or the individual that trafficked them never straight up directly threatened them, but it was the way that they behaved that let them know that if they went against the employer, if they went against the individual that was doing this to them, that something bad would happen. There would be a bad consequence. The bad consequence may be that you would be thrown out on the street, you would be deprived of shelter. The bad consequence could be that your children would be taken away from you. The bad consequence would be that you were afraid that they would look for you and or report you to ICE. The bad consequence could be that you felt like if you resisted, based on their behavior, they could retaliate against you physically, even though they may not have threatened you verbally, even, but their behavior was very intimidating. And based on that intimidation, you knew not to go against that individual. So these are and then also there's the physical force by force, where you may have been abused physically by an employer or another individual in order to comply with their demands. So these are the different ways. So you don't have to be kidnapped, you don't have to be, say, smuggled into the country necessarily, but that does count as trafficking as well. But if you feel tricked, if you feel like they committed fraud against you, if you feel lied to, and you feel like you put effort or gave work or gave labor that you would never have given, because of this lie, because of this threat, because of this whatever they promised you that they didn't fulfill. If you feel like you gave that and you depended on that lie that turned out to be fraud, or you did that thing for another individual for their benefit, because if you didn't, you are afraid based on their behavior that they were going to do something, or there was going to be some bad consequence. Do something doesn't mean just hit you, but do something mean throw you out on the street. Maybe based on the circumstances you were under at the time, you couldn't afford to lose the job and they knew it, or you were afraid that once you got on their bad side, they would call immigration. These are forms of trafficking. Now, another thing to note here is I've seen different forms of trafficking, even in intimate relationships. Usually, where it is trafficking is where the individual is in or was in an intimate relationship and they wanted to leave the relationship, but this individual was not allowing them to leave. So the minute maybe they wanted to leave, they started to say, well, if you leave me, I'm going to do something to you. Or if you leave me, I'm going to call the police on you. I'm going to set you up. Or if you leave me, I'm going to take your kids away. Or if you leave me, I'm going to call immigration on you. If you leave me, I'm going to pack you up and send you back home to your home country. If you have a situation like that where you now are being forced to stay in that situation with this individual, even if it's an intimate partner, because you're afraid of what they will do to you, because they have indicated that they're one way or the other through their behavior towards you, through what they've said, through what they have done to you, you are afraid that if you don't comply with their demand to stay there, that you're going to face those bad consequences. Now, in these situations where you have an intimate partner who is forcing you to do that, what are they, how are they benefiting from forcing you to be there? Are they forcing you to have relationships with them, even though you have mentally checked out of the relationship, but you feel forced to stay because of these kind of behaviors that I was telling you about previously? um, if that could be considered sex trafficking, because they're still forcing you to carry on with intimate relations even though you don't want to. Then the other is, are they forcing you to stay, and are they benefiting from you now? They're also imposing rules on you that you need to work for them in the house, maybe take care of their children. You need to cook, you need to clean, you need to do their laundry, you need to work in their business if they have a business. You need to go and work, do the labor, and then give them your money. If that's the case, then you could qualify based on labor trafficking. Now, the benefits of this are very valuable. As a victim of trafficking, in these cases, under, and this is defined as trafficking under immigration law, you can get your 4-year status, your work permit, a path to permanent residence. You'll also be able to get your children if your children need it, your spouse if your spouse needs it, and if you're under 21, your parents and your sibling who is your sibling who is unmarried can also get this. So any sibling who is under 18 and unmarried can get this as well. So it not only the benefit not only go extends to you, but it can also serve as valuable relief for your family members. And this is to ensure that you can be stable here. You don't have to be victimized. Now I'm going to go ahead and answer some questions. So go ahead and put your questions in the comments. So Swag Laden, go ahead, give us a call at the office and you can schedule time to go on to go ahead and talk. Now the slots are filling up for time to talk, to talk about your options. So make sure you call the office and schedule your appointment so I can help you as soon as possible. Go ahead, put your questions in the comments. I only have a limited amount of time, so put those questions in the comments and I will quickly answer your question. Now, in the meantime, while I wait for a question to come in, go ahead, click on the link in the profile on Instagram, or click on the link in the description of this video on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch to be able to access the button to schedule your own appointment, the button to go to the website if you want to learn more about me, the law firm. You can also contact us at the phone number, which is on the website or on videos. So you'll see a number of videos on the main page. Follow me and then look at the videos. There's a lot of content there with informative content with my phone number there as well. If you call the phone number, you fill out the contact form or you do online chat, you will talk to scheduling coordinators who can answer your questions and then go ahead and help you to schedule. How long is it going to take for you to get your T visa? Great question. So it takes, right now, I'm seeing processing times ranging from 10 months to 12 months. Right now, I'm noticing it's a little longer, and this may be because more and more of these applications are going in. So it's taking about 12 months, you could expect. Now, to be realistic and to have realistic expectations, you have to you may need to or you should expect anywhere from 6 months at the shortest to 18 months at the longest, just in case if immigration has additional questions. It may take additional time to address those questions before you get that T visa. So 6 months to 18 months is the processing time for the T visa right now. But as I said, this is a form of relief that not a lot of people know about, and it has served as an alternative for my clients. So I had one client had no way of gaining immigration status here. A relative brought them here. They had no way to adjust status through a relative. They didn't want to get married. Of course, and this is one of the reasons why I offer this, is because I want to make sure people don't do things like that where they try to get into the business marriages because it's illegal. You're not supposed to do business marriages. So I try to make sure that people know that there are these alternatives to that whole nefarious activity of getting married for the green card. You don't have to do it, and it can end badly. So the T status serves as an alternative, and it did serve as an alternative for this client, who was able to not only get the status for herself, but for the status of her spouse, who was also without status. So it's valuable, right? It's something that's there, and it's there for people who don't have options otherwise. And now they are on a path to getting their green card because it does lead to permanent residence. So, can a judge approve your case in your first hearing? So, usually not. They have the master calendar hearing and then they have the individual hearing that's scheduled after the master calendar hearing. And this is in regards to removal proceedings in court. All right, so that's going to be it for me. I don't see, let me see. Does it matter how long the abuse happened? What if it happened months ago? Does not matter. Fate doesn't matter. It could have happened. You could have been abused for one day. This could have happened 20 years ago. You can still get this. I got this for my client who was victimized in 1996, and she now has her status today. She waited years because she didn't know she had this status. And it wasn't until 2022, victimized from 1996, wasn't until 2022 that she got this status. And now she has her status. She has the ability to work and live her life. So it doesn't matter. Good afternoon. How long does it usually take to get the receipt after submitting I-360, I-485? I'm seeing about 2 months right now. So it's backed up. So you could see as long as 2 months. Looking forward to the appointment. I'm looking forward to the appointment too, as well. I'm so glad that you're taking those steps. And we'll talk more about that. How long after submitting I-360? And okay, so I answered that question. Can you also travel with the T visa? Great question. So the T visa, you do have to, once you get the T visa, if you got it outside of the US to enter the US, then you will have the ability to travel back and forth. However, when you're already in the US and you got it after being out of status, you're going to get what's called a T status. And once you leave the US, you're going to lose that status. So you really have to work your way through to permanent residence before you even consider traveling. Williams, you're welcome. I will be back tomorrow, where can talk again. Where I'll come with a topic. You can come with your questions, and I'll be more than happy to answer those questions for you. It can be anything that's immigration related. Thanks for your questions. Thank you on YouTube. Thanks on Instagram. I will see you tomorrow at around lunchtime. All right. Bye bye.